Super chats.
Super chats.
Let's hit them. Got a few super chats to wrap up the show here. This one from Xenothium15. Charlie, I know you're trying to be polite, but John Bailey owes Tony an apology for sensationalizing his story for clicks. True or not? I don't think he owes him an apology.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone did anything too crazy.
Well, I mean, if you want them to be friends, then yeah, he should probably apologize because like Tony's probably going to hold it against John. And hey, you know what? I'm in no way, shape, or form wanting to get in the middle of a Twitter beef. That is not anything I want to do. I think
I don't think anyone did anything too out of line.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, did John? I don't agree with the way John framed the story, but I don't think it is a insane way to frame the story. I just think that it was a bit much, and John probably could have done a bit more background research before pumping out a story like that. But again, as I've said, his company is paying for him to write 400-word stories every day about what people are talking about. So that model breeds this type of conflict. It just does.
All right. Let's go to the next one here from Hockey Dentist 28. Hey, guys. Is there a strong possibility that if Fedotov can't adapt to the North American game, the Flyers will regret not prioritizing Kolosov's development? In other words, it kicks us in the ass. This is just something we've talked about a few times. Like, I thought maybe there was a chance, like, hey, through a few months this year, like, if it don't work out, like, well, we got Kolosov down there. But you have kind of said this year is what it is. It's Ersson and Fedotov, and then reassess next year. This was all with the idea of Kolosov getting at least, the tandem duties in the AHL, and then we'll see where everyone is after the season.
I don't even think it was tandem. I think he's going to be the number one. They don't give a shit about Cal Peterson.
Just in terms of, I say tandem because, like, I don't know what they really care to make his workload. I guess if you're training him to be potentially a number one goalie, you want to see if he can handle it. You want to
get a lot of games.
Yeah.
They're not going to do what they did to Ersson in the NHL, and that's why you have Cal Peterson. But this was never going to be like a 1A, 1B thing. Okay. Kolosov was going to be the one.
He was going
Peterson
to start
was going to be the two.
Over half the games, and then we reassess later.
Yes.
Do you think if he doesn't come over, it's like, oh, maybe we paid a little too much attention to Fedotov? But like Fedotov's story is so ridiculous. Like, they had to do these things. I don't know that they didn't prioritize Coles. Like, they were going to play him a lot in the AHL this year. Like, I don't know that they didn't prioritize his development. They allowed him to stay over in the KHL last year so that he would play more because we had Cal Peterson. We had
Carter Hart.
Yeah, Carter Hart was still here. Felix Sandstrom. All these guys are under contract. Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're all gone, it's like, well, yeah, you're our number one in the AHL, and then we'll see. I don't know that they didn't prioritize his development. It's like, I don't know if they prioritized everything else enough, maybe. And I don't know that either.
Look, in the end, it's better to have more like darts to throw at the dartboard that is NHL goaltender development.
Yes.
And if they lose Kolosov for whatever reason, it's a bummer because he's a good prospect. He's not a like blue chip super duper goalie prospect, but he's a prospect who I believe if everything breaks right, he could have starting NHL goalie potential. I don't think he's one of the top 10 best goalie prospects in hockey, but he's a good goalie prospect. You don't want to lose those guys for nothing. Fedotov obviously is a little on the older side. So could it bite them if the way this plays out is that they kind of marginalize Kolosov to keep Fedotov happy, to get him over? Yeah, it could stink. But again, this goes back to what we said the entire first half of the show. I'm not ready to get angry about something that hasn't happened yet.
And there is just the possibility no matter what they did, he was just going to be like, I don't like it.
Maybe.
Like there's always a possibility. I don't like it here. Like and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
All right. These next one from him. Hope Briere considers trading for Laine now. Laine,
we talked about Friday,
this.
Yeah.
If
I don't know why this has anything to do with what we talked about today.
But he paid $279.
Sure. If you really want Patrik Laine, then you hope that him, tripping on his way out of bed makes him change his mind and trade for Laine.
Yeah.
If you really want Patrik Laine.
He paid $279 Canadian, which is, I think we paid him money. So we answered the question. Listen, I would like to see it under the right circumstances. A 50% retention of salary and not a whole lot going back the other way. I don't know if that's what Waddell's looking to do in Columbus, but if that's the price, cool. Let's do it.
You personally are open to it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to Logang. Been listening to y'all nearly every day at work. Really appreciate you guys entertaining this Illinois Flyers fan. You all got a new diehard. That's what we like to see. Go to allphly.com and be like Logang. Become a diehard. You get
like
so
Logang.
much great Charlie
Logang
content.
is very smart.
Yeah, he's a wise man. He learned from other people's mistakes.
Could be a woman
Or a
too.
woman.
We don't know.
That's possible. Let's go to JH, the final super chat of the day. New theory from the chat. I acknowledge that Charlie might not be evil gritty, but has anyone ever seen an evil gritty and Kelly in the same room? Kelly, I have thrown this theory out there before.
Oh, you have?
And Kelly says, because she famously ran the Dan Carcillo's mustache account.
That was Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Right.
And she can't possibly do 2 parody accounts in one lifetime. That was enough.
It'd be a lot.
And she is like running Broad Street Hockey. She does this. She has a whole entire day job.
She has a whole full-time job in addition to this.
like-
I do not know how she would have the time to also run Evil Gritty. But yeah, I also think that given the amount of times I have vented to her about like the people who believe I'm Evil Gritty, I would find it difficult that she would be able to hold a straight face if she was Evil Gritty. When I am like, it's so annoying that they all think I'm Evil Gritty, whereas she knows deep down she's actually Evil Gritty. I think that is highly unlikely. If it's the case, though, man, she has a hell of a poker face.
There's a whole lot of edits that can happen from these last couple of sentences, though. I can't wait to see those. It makes him so mad.
We all silly like the mayor.